Alright, today we're going to fix a window in this car. The window will only wind up to a certain distance, and what we believe is that there's a bolt missing behind here, but we're going to pull this apart. So I'm going to show you how to take off the door trim and have a look behind there and see what's going on. I would rate this job a 3 out of 10 in difficulty. So the tools we're going to need today are Phillips head screwdriver, standard size, probably a larger size one as well, a flat blade screwdriver, and a 10mm socket. First thing we're going to do is take off the window winder and then the latch cover behind there and that there. So we'll just do the window winder. And all that is just got a little spring clip behind the winder, and I'll show you that after I take it off. A little clip like that. The winder comes off, and all that does is just sits in behind. You try not to lose it, it usually helps them. It just sits in behind there, and those two pieces there hold on to the back of the winder, and that's it. So once you've taken that off, we just need to take this little cover off here. That's just a screw behind there, and then that just slides out. And then this little cover here, use the bigger screwdriver for that. That just pulls out like that, and then we'll go ahead and get the rest of the door trim off. Right, so I've discovered here, this is not actually something I've seen before, but there's a couple of little covers here, and they've got screws behind there, and that's what holds the door trim on. So we'll just remove those screws one at a time. Sometimes you can find also that there might be a screw up into the top up here on either side, and may very well have some little plastic covers over those as well. So you just have to be careful and have a bit of a look at what's there. Don't force anything off, you'll end up breaking it. Okay, so behind that. Okay, we'll just collect our screws here so we don't lose them. Then just lever the door trim off just with your fingers. Okay, so over here we've got, I can feel there's pressure. This has been taken off previously and somebody has broken the trim. So I'm going to take these 4 screws here out, which is the speaker, and see if that's what's holding it on. That should just pop out of there, and so that we haven't got it flopping around all over the place, To get these clips off here, you just squeeze on the top there, it just pushes down a little lever, and then that just pops off like that, and we'll put that aside. And so that has loosened off our door trim. We're going to have to take this off. Alright, so we've just levered that off there. This here is holding this door trim on in that space there. So now we just hold it out on an angle, and we're just going to lift it up there, and the door trim comes off. Behind here, the door trim is actually over on a lip, and so what happens here is this lip here holds onto this part of the door to stop it from pulling away. What I'm going to do, I've taken the clip out of the door, the winder. I'm just going to put that back on there, and then I'll just start having a look and see what's happening. Why is it not going up and down? I can see that the bolt is on that side. And the bolt is on that side, so we've got another issue here. Okay, so I've discovered the issue. What's happened here is when the previous person has tried to repair this, they haven't slotted the window into the actual frame properly. So what I'm going to do is I'll disconnect it again, pull it back out, make sure it's slotted in, and then tighten it back up again. So that you can get to the bolts that are holding the window on. When I pull the window out, I'll show you how it's all held together. Now I'm just going to put my hand underneath here just to support it while I take this bolt out. And I'll drop the bolt in there, but that's okay. You'll notice that I've taken the window out on the outside of the vehicle. Reason for that is because if you try and do it on the inside of the vehicle, you'll put too much pressure on it. So it's designed to come out on the outside. So there's our window, and what it holds on to is these two catches here. A bolt to the actual window winder, and that's what actually winds it up and down. So that's the only place that the window is actually attached. So I'm just going to put that aside for a minute. Whoever did the previous repair didn't put the bolts in correctly. There's a bolt missing here, and I need to have a look down the bottom here. What I'm going to do is make sure it's unbolted. I'm going to move this frame out of the way. I'll put the window in, and then I'll bolt the frame back in place and make sure the window's sliding up and down. I've got to take this off to do that. So we'll just have a quickly remove that. This is just the support bracket for the speaker. That should just lift out of there. And when I look in here, the reason it has come loose is because that bolt is missing and that bolt is missing. So now what I'll do is I'll put the window back into place, and then I'll put those bolts back into place and make sure it's secured. Alright, when we put the window back in, we're going to put it in down this way to get it inside the window frame. Ease it in there. Try not to force anything too much. Once it's inside the window frame, come around here, we want to turn the window and so that it So once I've got both bolts in, I'll nip them up nice and tight. Don't try and over tighten it. That's enough. I'll check the window, make sure it's working. So it winds all the way down and then all the way back up again. Yep, so it's now working again. So now I'll put the door trim back on again. I need to put this piece back in first. Forget. No, I'm not. So basically now everything is just in reverse order to what you did. Put everything back together again. I put the wrong one in there. Okay, we'll put our door trim back on. Door trim, just make sure you slot it over your button there. Just pushes down like that, and you can just use your palm and you'll hear it just snap into place. When you do pull these off, sometimes the clips behind the brake, you may have to replace a couple of clips, but just try not to break them. Alright, so we're just screwing back together here. Alright, so we want it to slot into this side of the... So what we want to do is we want it to slot into this side of the slider. Into there. And because the framework is loose down here, I've been able to slot the window in down the bottom here. And what I'm going to do is just pull that window up and make sure that it's running on the slide. Now that's fairly secure there, but you might need to hold it up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt this frame back together again so that that window cannot come out of that framework. Alright, so this was a little bit bent, and it was probably because the window's been going up and down, so I had to bend that back into place in order to get the bolt back in. So now we'll replace the winder onto the window itself. So we'll pull that window back down. It should come down fairly easily, and it should just line up just nicely, just like that. Put our speaker back in. That just clips back on the way it came off, and then just gets screwed back into place. Reattach our cover, just clips in like that, and put in our put this back in. Put this piece back on, so just lever your door latch back out, slide it back on there. Once it's in place, replace your screw there. Oops. Put your window winder back on. Now's when you want to put your clip back in there. Clipped on like that. It's got a little cover that goes behind it, sits on there like that, and then pops on. And we've just got the corner piece to put in. Again, these little clips here, they can break. You might have to replace them, just be careful. So that just clips into the hole there, and that's what holds it on. Just like so. Put our little covers back on. Okay, there you go. Window winder works. Stops the rain. Don't need to pay a mechanic. And the last one. That's it. All done. All done. Winds up and down properly now. Fantastic. Don't need to pay your mechanic.